Hi everyone, welcome back to Economics with Jagdeep, the channel where we go from confused to confident, one concept at a time. Now today we are diving into one of the most important government intervention tools that your exams are surely going to test you on. It's called subsidies. Now before you think this is about memorizing a definition, I want you to stay with me right till the end, because by the end of this video you'll be able to explain what a subsidy is, draw and label the diagram correctly, explain how a subsidy corrects market failure, and you would know exactly what you would want to write in your exams and get those A stars. There's also a free PDF of exam notes for this topic, and the link shall be available in the description box. So without wasting any time further, let's get started. Now before we talk about subsidies, let's do a quick recap, because subsidies would only make sense when you understand the problem subsidies are trying to solve. Alright? Now in a free market, prices are determined by the forces of demand and supply, and most of the time price mechanism works just fine. But many a times the market may go wrong, and that's when market failure happens. So market failure happens when the free market is underproducing or overproducing a commodity, and what that means is that the resources aren't efficiently allocated. Now one of the major causes of market failure is positive externality. Now a positive externality is when the production or consumption of a commodity would create benefit for the third parties who are nowhere involved in the original transaction. Now, if you want to get a detailed understanding, there are separate videos available for each of those. You can take a look at them first. To give you a small example, we can think about vaccination. Now, when you get vaccinated, you don't just protect yourself, you protect the people around you. And that benefit to the society is the positive externality. Now, because individuals and firms would not account for these wider social benefits, the free markets are generally producing little or too little of these goods. The output is generally below the socially optimum level, and that's where the government would step in. So what exactly is a subsidy? So a subsidy refers to a financial aid which is given by the government either to the producers or consumers to lower the cost of production or consumption of a particular good and service. Now the key term over here is lower the cost. It's either the production cost or the consumption cost. Alright? Let me give you a few real world examples so that it becomes more concrete. So the first real world example over here is renewable energy. Now government subsidizes renewable energy such as solar panels and wind farms so that it is easier to produce them, and people could be encouraged to use these instead of fossil fuels, right? The next one is public transport. So government may subsidize public transport, which is buses, trains, metros or subways, to make the fare cheaper and encourage that people use them instead of their private cars. The next thing that you could quote an example is education and healthcare. Now government would subsidize education and healthcare because these are merit goods, and people generally tend to underconsume merit goods because we don't know the benefits that they are providing not only to you but to others as well. And finally, government may also subsidize agriculture so that there is food security, and many a times to show support to the farmers. In every single case, the pattern is the same. The government steps in because the market is producing too little of a commodity that benefits the society. Alright, so this is what you would want to write when we talk about the reasons for government intervention. Now let's take a look at the diagram. If you're finding this video helpful so far, please consider using the thanks button below. Your support is super crucial for creating more high quality, free content for students just like you. All your support is appreciated so far. Also, if you're watching this video on your mobile phone, please hit the hype button so YouTube could push this video to more learners just like yourself. Now let's get back to our diagram. So we can see we have price on the y-axis quantity on the x-axis, the initial demand curve, which is marginal private benefit, that means the benefit to the individual. Supply curve is labeled MSC, which is marginal social cost, as in the cost to the entire society. This is the free market equilibrium E, price P1 and quantity Q1. Now, since it is a positive externality of consumption, we need to have the marginal benefit curve as well. So, marginal social benefit curve, my bad. So, this is D1 and this is your marginal social benefit, which is the benefit to the entire society. We see that in this case, this is where the socially optimum quantity is and this is the price, correct? So, we see that there is an increase in the quantity and an increase in the price as well. Now, the intention of government intervening over here is, we see that there is an increase in the quantity, but the price also increased, making it unaffordable. So, with the introduction of a subsidy, the commodity would become more affordable. Let's introduce the subsidy. It's a rightward shift in the supply curve. Let us say this is the subsidy. Let us label it as S1 is equal to MPC minus subsidy. Okay. Now, for students in IGCSE grade 10, even if you just write S1, it is fine, but for those at higher levels, S1 and S won't suffice. You would want to be very specific as to what has happened and why the curve has shifted to the right. Now, with this rightward shift, we see that the quantity is still the same, but now the price has come down to P2. So, this is the impact of subsidy. The vertical distance here between these two curves is basically the dollar amount of subsidy given by the government. Okay. So, when you are explaining subsidy, you would want to talk about what is the impact. So, you see that there is a rightward shift. How much is the subsidy? It's the vertical distance over here. What is the impact in the market? The quantity is still the same, but the price has gone down from PSO to P2. So, there is a downward movement in the price from here to here. This is making the commodity more affordable for people, and hence that would increase the consumption and people wouldn't hesitate to buy more of this commodity. Clear? Now, for all those who have already seen positive externalities of consumption, knew that there was welfare loss to the society because of externalities not being considered by the consumers. This here was the welfare loss to the society due to underconsumption of this commodity, but now because of the subsidy being provided, this has been taken care of, and now after the subsidy has been given, this goes away because this is what the society is now benefiting of. So, now when you are trying to explain this diagram, what do you want to say? So, since it is positive externalities of consumption, you would want to say in the free market, private benefit is lower than the social benefit, because the consumers are not paying attention to the benefit that is extended to the third parties because of their own consumptions. They are only seeing their own private benefits. So, when a subsidy is given, this difference between private and social is removed, and now everybody is happy with QSO, which is a socially optimum level of output. Students, if you find this topic difficult, consider joining one of my online tutoring sessions where we could explore this topic in depth. I'm currently helping students from multiple countries like UAE, Singapore, Hong Kong and Qatar. I invite you to contact me directly at the number displayed on your screen. Do not miss out on a complimentary 30-minute session. Now, the final thing in this video is basically your exam tips. So, when we talk about exams, the segments that you're supposed to pay attention to is the labels, the diagrams, the curves, the market equilibrium, the socially optimum equilibrium and the equilibrium after the subsidy has been given. Clear? For IGCSE students, just simple P, P1, Q, Q1, D and S labels for the curve would be absolutely fine. But at higher levels, you would want to be specific as to what these curves are, what they denote and why is there a shift in these curves. So this is all about the diagrams representing the subsidy. In the next video, we will be looking at the benefits and limitations of subsidies as a policy tool. So until then, bye now. Take care.